The orbital defense station Sierra 9 hung silently above Earth, its crystalline sensor arrays scanning the depths of space. Captain Sarah Chen stood at her command post, dark eyes fixed on the holographic displays that showed nothing but routine traffic, civilian ships, cargo vessels, and the regular patrol of United Earth Defense Force cruisers. 20 years of peace had made these watches predictable, almost boring. That was about to change. "Captain, anomalous reading at the edge of lunar orbit," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across the control interface. "Energy signature unlike anything in our database." Before Chen could respond, space itself seemed to tear open. A massive vessel emerged from the rift, its hull gleaming with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The ship was easily twice the size of their largest battlecruiser, its design a perfect fusion of artistic beauty and deadly intent. "All stations, battle ready," Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surge. "But hold fire. Let's see what we're dealing with." The alien vessel came to a stop, maintaining a respectful distance from Earth's defense perimeter. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then, every communication system on Sierra 9 activated simultaneously. A figure materialized in the center of the command deck, a holographic projection of breathtaking clarity. It stood 3 meters tall, its form vaguely humanoid but composed of shifting geometric patterns that seemed to exist in more dimensions than the human mind could process. When it spoke, its voice resonated with harmonics that made the air itself vibrate. "I am Archon Vexthor of the Nexus Dominion, supreme authority of the Galactic Core and keeper of the cosmic order." The being's patterns pulsed with each word. "Your species has been monitored since you achieved faster-than-light capability. The time has come for Earth to take its place in the grand design." Chen stepped forward, maintaining her composure. "I am Captain Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. We welcome peaceful contact with other civilizations." The Archon's patterns darkened. "Peace is maintained through proper hierarchy, Captain. The Dominion has ruled for 10,000 years by ensuring each species knows its place. Humanity has shown, concerning levels of expansion and technological development. This must be regulated." Display screens throughout the station lit up with detailed demands. 30% of Earth's industrial output to be redirected to Dominion control. Military forces to be reduced by 70%. All advanced research facilities to be placed under Dominion oversight. Regular tribute of rare elements and biological resources. "These terms are non-negotiable," Vexthor stated. "You have 48 Earth hours to begin compliance. The alternative is classification of humanity as a rogue species, subject to immediate containment." The hologram vanished, leaving the command deck in stunned silence. Chen immediately opened a secure channel to Earth's Defense Council, knowing that similar scenes were playing out at every major human installation across the solar system. Within hours, the council chambers in Geneva were filled with humanity's highest-ranking military and civilian leaders. Admiral James Okonjo, Supreme Commander of the Defense Force, stood before the assembly, his weathered face grave. The Dominion's demands would effectively end human independence, he stated, but their threat is not an empty one. Long-range scans have detected multiple Dominion fleets positioning themselves around neighboring systems. They can reach Earth within hours. Dr. Emily Santos, head of the Quantum Physics Division, stepped forward. "There's something else you need to know." She activated a holographic display showing complex energy readings. "The Dominion's technology is advanced, but it's not unknowable. In fact, it bears striking similarities to artifacts we've been studying in secret for the past decade." The room erupted in murmurs. The artifacts she referred to had been discovered buried beneath the surface of Mars, remnants of an ancient civilization that had apparently vanished without trace. "We've not only understood their principles," Santos continued, "we've improved upon them. Project Prometheus isn't just theoretical anymore." Admiral Okonjo's eyes widened. "The quantum defense grid, but it's not scheduled for completion for another 3 years." Santos allowed herself a small smile. My team has been working around the clock since we detected the Dominion's approach vector 2 months ago. The grid is ready. Not only that, but the principles we learned have been applied to our entire defense fleet. We're not as helpless as they think. The council chamber erupted in fierce debate. Some argued for compliance, hoping to buy time. Others pushed for immediate military action. In the end, it was the words of Council President Maya Patel that settled the matter. Throughout human history, we have faced those who demanded submission in exchange for peace, she said, her voice cutting through the chaos. Every time, the price of that peace grew higher until it became unbearable. I say we draw the line here, not just for ourselves, but for every species that has been forced to kneel before the Dominion's power. The vote was unanimous. Humanity would not submit. As the deadline approached, the Sol system hummed with activity. Civilian ships were evacuated to hardened shelters within the asteroid belt. Defense platforms previously hidden within gas-giant atmospheres moved into position, and deep within secure facilities across Earth, engineers activated quantum matrices that would change the nature of space itself around their world. Captain Chen watched from Sierra 9 as the 48-hour mark approached. The Dominion vessel hadn't moved, but long-range sensors detected multiple ships emerging from faster-than-light travel at the system's edge. Archon Vexthor's hologram appeared once more, this time simultaneously, at every major command center in the solar system. Your time expires, humans. What is your answer? President Patel stood in the council chamber, her response broadcast across all frequencies. Humanity rejects your demands, Archon. We will not surrender our independence or our future to your control. Then you choose extinction, the Archon stated. Know that your species' end was brought about by your own arrogance. The hologram vanished. Moments later, the Dominion flagship began to move, its weapon systems charging. Behind it, hundreds of warships emerged from hyperspace, their combined power enough to reduce Earth's surface to molten slag. Captain Chen gave the order that would be remembered for generations to come. Activate the quantum grid. Across the solar system, hidden arrays powered up. Space itself seemed to shiver as overlapping fields of quantum energy created a new kind of defense shield, one that didn't just absorb or deflect energy, but redirected it through dimensional pathways humanity's greatest minds had discovered by improving upon the ancient Mars artifacts. The Dominion's first strike, a beam of concentrated plasma that could have vaporized a small continent, hit the quantum field. Instead of impacting Earth, the energy simply vanished, redirected through quantum space to emerge as harmless radiation in deep space. Impossible. Vexthor's voice boomed across all frequencies. This technology is beyond your level of development. You're not the first advanced civilization to visit our solar system, Archon. Chen responded. We learned from those who came before, and we improved upon their work. Humanity doesn't just adapt. We innovate. The battle for Earth's future was about to begin, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy that they would not go quietly into the night. The Dominion fleet hung in space like a constellation of deadly stars, their initial shock at humanity's defense system quickly giving way to calculated aggression. Inside the flagship's command center, Archon Vexthor's geometric form pulsed with barely contained rage as tactical displays showed the impossible. Their most powerful weapons simply disappeared into the quantum field protecting Earth. Launch the phase shift destroyers, Vexthor commanded. If we cannot break their shield, we will pass through it. But humanity had anticipated this strategy. Dr. Emily Santos stood in the underground command center of Project Prometheus, surrounded by holographic representations of the quantum grid's performance. They're attempting to phase through the defensive field, she announced to the assembled military leadership, initiating countermeasure Protocol Medusa. Throughout the solar system, hidden installations activated their secondary systems. The quantum field didn't just protect Earth, it was about to reveal its offensive capabilities. Admiral Okonjo watched as the first wave of Dominion phase shift destroyers attempted to slip through the defensive barrier. The moment they entered the quantum field, their own phase shift technology was turned against them. The ships became trapped between dimensions, their crews frozen in a state of temporal flux. By the eternal void, Vex Thor's voice crackled across all frequencies. "What have you done?" "We've been studying quantum mechanics and dimensional physics for decades," Santos replied, her voice calm but firm. "Your technology relies on shifting between three-dimensional states. Ours operates on a 12-dimensional framework. You're not just dealing with shields, Archon. You're facing an entirely new understanding of spatial mechanics." The trapped Dominion ships hung motionless, serving as a stark warning to the rest of the fleet. But Vex Thor was not finished. The remaining ships began to deploy swarms of autonomous combat drones, millions of them, each smaller than a human fighter, but armed with devastating weapons. This was the moment humanity had prepared for. Throughout the asteroid belt, concealed hangars opened, revealing humanity's own autonomous fleet. But unlike the Dominion's drones, these were powered by quantum cores, allowing them to think and react at speeds that defied conventional physics. Captain Chen watched from Sierra 9 as the two swarms met in space. "Launch our Nexus warriors," she ordered. The station's hidden bays opened, releasing sleek, angular craft that looked more like abstract art than military vessels. Each was piloted by a human consciousness digitally merged with quantum AI, creating hybrid warriors that combined human intuition with computational perfection. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. The Dominion's drone swarms moved with perfect precision, but humanity's forces fought with controlled chaos. The Nexus warriors phase-shifted unpredictably, appearing inside enemy formations to sow destruction before vanishing again. The quantum-powered autonomous fleet moved in patterns that seemed random but were actually executing complex four-dimensional battle strategies. From his command post on Earth, Admiral Okonjo coordinated the defense with a mix of pride and grim determination. "Deploy the Lazarus protocols," he ordered. Across the battlefield, destroyed human vessels began to reconstruct themselves, their quantum cores reassembling their structure from the atomic level up. "This is impossible," Vex Thor broadcast. "Your species was primitive merely decades ago. These advances, this level of quantum manipulation." Dr. Santos allowed herself a tight smile as she monitored the battle's progress. "We found more than just artifacts on Mars, Archon. We found an entire library of quantum physics theories left behind by those who came before. But unlike you, who merely copied their technology, we sought to understand it, to improve it. Every weapon you're facing is built on principles your empire discovered, but never fully comprehended." The Dominion fleet began to retreat, pulling back to regroup and reassess their strategy. But humanity wasn't about to give them that chance. Hidden within Jupiter's atmosphere, a massive installation activated, the culmination of Project Prometheus. "You wanted to see our arsenal, Archon." President Patel's voice carried across all frequencies. "Then witness what humanity can achieve when pushed to innovate." Jupiter's storms parted, revealing a construct that defied conventional physics. A quantum forge larger than Earth's moon, capable of manipulating matter and energy on a stellar scale. It had taken 15 years to build in secret, using the gas giant's storms as cover. The forge powered up, its quantum matrices aligning. Space itself began to warp around the Dominion fleet as micro-singularities appeared and disappeared, each one precisely targeted. Ships that weren't destroyed found their weapons and propulsion systems transformed at the quantum level, rendered useless by laws of physics they didn't understand. "This is your final warning, Archon," Patel declared. "Retreat from our system and spread the word. Humanity will not be subjugated. We do not seek conflict, but we will not hesitate to defend ourselves with every tool at our disposal." Vex Thor's holographic form appeared one final time in Earth's Defense Command. "You have made a grave mistake," the Archon warned. "The Dominion does not forget, and it does not forgive. What you have shown us today will bring the full might of our empire down upon you. Then you should also consider what we haven't shown you. Admiral Okonjo replied. This was merely our defensive arsenal, Arkshin. Pray you never have to witness our offensive capabilities. The remaining Dominion ships vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind their trapped and transformed companions as monuments to humanity's unexpected power. But in command centers across Earth, celebrations were tempered by the knowledge that this was only the beginning. They'll be back, Chen stated, watching the last enemy signals disappear from her sensors. And they'll bring everything they have. Let them come, Santos replied, her eyes fixed on the Quantum Forge's data streams. Every attack they launch teaches us more about their technology. Every weapon they use gives us new insights. We'll be ready. The solar system fell quiet once more, but it was a different kind of silence. Humanity had revealed itself as more than just another species to be dominated. They had shown the galaxy that innovation, understanding, and determination could overcome even the most established power. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, other subjugated species began to take notice. 3 months after humanity's stunning defense of Earth, the galaxy hummed with tension. The Dominion had withdrawn its forces from neighboring systems, but intelligence gathered from quantum long-range sensors told a different story. They were amassing the largest fleet in their 10,000-year history. Admiral Okonjo stood before the United Earth Defense Council, his holographic form projected simultaneously in command centers across the solar system. The Dominion strategy is clear, he stated, gesturing to a strategic display showing movement patterns across the galaxy. They're positioning their forces around the void gates, controlling all faster-than-light travel routes to Earth. The void gates, ancient structures scattered throughout the galaxy, were the primary means of interstellar travel. Built by the same civilization that had left the artifacts on Mars, they created stable wormholes between distant points in space. The Dominion had maintained exclusive control over these gates for millennia, using them to enforce their authority. Dr. Santos stepped forward, her quantum interface implant glowing softly at her temple. We've completed our analysis of the Mars archives. The void gates aren't just transportation hubs. They're nodes in a vast quantum network. The Dominion uses them, but they don't truly understand them. We do. President Patel's eyes narrowed. You're suggesting we take the gates. I'm suggesting we do what humanity does best, Santos replied. We innovate, we adapt, and we turn our enemy's strength into their weakness. Operation Starfire was launched 48 hours later. While the Dominion expected Earth to hunker down behind its quantum defenses, humanity brought the fight to them. The newly commissioned UES Prometheus, Earth's first quantum-core dreadnought, dropped out of hyperspace near the Centauri Void Gate. Captain Chen, given command of the massive vessel, stood on her quantum-enhanced bridge. The ship itself was a marvel of human engineering, its hull composed of adaptive quantum materials that could phase shift and restructure in response to damage. Multiple Dominion signatures detected, her tactical officer reported. They'd fortified the gate with 3 defense fleets. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Deploy the quantum mirrors. The Prometheus's hull shimmered, and suddenly there were 5 identical ships where one had been. Perfect quantum duplicates, each capable of independent action. It was technology that the Dominion had deemed impossible, yet humanity had achieved it by understanding principles their predecessors had only theorized about. The battle that followed was chaos to any observer, but to humanity's quantum-enhanced commanders and crews, it was a carefully choreographed dance. The quantum mirrors engaged the Dominion fleets, while the real Prometheus approached the Void Gate. They're targeting our duplicates, Chen's tactical officer reported. Enemy weapons are passing through them without effect. Of course they are, Chen replied. The duplicates exist in a quantum superposition. You can't destroy what isn't technically there. But the duplicates' weapons were very real. Their quantum-phased energy beams bypassing Dominion shields as if they didn't exist. The enemy fleet, caught between fighting phantom ships and defending against actual attacks, began to break formation. Dr. Santos, coordinating from her quantum lab on Earth, initiated the next phase. Activating the gate interface now, Captain. Stand by for quantum resonance. The void gate's surface began to ripple as humanity's understanding of its true nature came into play. The Dominion had spent millennia using brute force to control these structures. Humanity had spent months learning to communicate with them. Archon Vexthor's voice boomed across space. What are you doing? The gates cannot be reprogrammed. Their protocols are absolute. The protocols aren't programming, Archon, Santos replied. They're quantum consciousness. The gates are alive, in their own way, and they remember who built them. The gate's quantum matrix synchronized with the Prometheus's core, recognizing patterns encoded in its design. Patterns humanity had discovered in the Mars archives. The ancient builders hadn't left behind just technology. They'd left behind a key to their legacy. Across the galaxy, other void gates began to resonate in response. The quantum network that connected them stirred to life, responding to protocols that hadn't been activated in millennia. By the eternal void, Vexthor breathed. The gates, they're linking. The network was never meant to be controlled, Santos explained. It was meant to be collaborated with. The builders created it to connect species, not to dominate them. The Prometheus's quantum core pulsed, sending a signal through the awakened network. Every void gate in Dominion space simultaneously activated, creating a web of wormholes that bypassed all conventional defenses. Through these new passages poured humanity's real fleet, thousands of ships that had been waiting in hyperspace. Each vessel was equipped with quantum technology that allowed them to interface directly with the gates, while Dominion ships found their usual access protocols denied. The gates have chosen. Chen broadcast to the enemy fleet. Your monopoly on interstellar travel ends today. The Dominion forces retreated in disarray. Their supposedly impregnable control of the galaxy's travel networks shattered in a single strategic stroke. But humanity wasn't finished. From each captured gate, quantum signals spread through subspace, carrying a message to every oppressed species in the galaxy. The void gates are free, and so are you. As reports flooded in of uprisings across Dominion space, Admiral Okonjo received a priority transmission from deep space. Other species, inspired by humanity's success, were reaching out. They had their own stories of ancient artifacts, their own hidden developments. We've started something bigger than us, Patel observed, watching the reports of revolution spread across the galactic map. No, Okonjo replied. We've finished something that began millennia ago. The builders didn't leave their legacy to control the galaxy. They left it to free it. The battle for the void gates marked a turning point, but the war was far from over. The Dominion still commanded vast resources and armies. Yet for the first time in 10,000 years, they faced an enemy who had not only matched their power, but understood it better than they did. And throughout the galaxy, the quantum network hummed with newfound purpose, awaiting the next chapter in the story of liberation. News of humanity's successful capture of the void gates spread through the galaxy like a quantum wave, inspiring hope in civilizations that had lived under Dominion control for generations. On Earth, the Defense Council chamber became a hub of diplomatic activity as representatives from dozens of species arrived through the newly liberated gates. Admiral Okonjo stood before an unprecedented gathering of alien diplomats, each with their own story of oppression and hidden resistance. The Meridians, crystalline beings who had secretly developed organic computing. The Vulturi, a species of energy beings who had masked their true technological capabilities beneath a facade of primitive spiritualism. The Arcanian Empire, whose vast underground cities had harbored advanced research facilities for centuries. For millennia, we all hid our true potential, spoke Meridian Ambassador Crix, her crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns. We each believed we were alone in our quiet defiance. Humanity showed us otherwise. Dr. Santos, interfacing with the quantum network through her neural implant, projected a galaxy-wide strategic display. Every species here has developed unique approaches to quantum mechanics and dimensional physics. The Dominion's greatest mistake was assuming their understanding was complete. The Volturi representative, a swirling vortex of conscious energy, pulsed in agreement. They saw only what they expected to see. A primitive species here, a subjugated civilization there. They never imagined we were all advancing in secret, waiting for the right moment. That moment had come. As the coalition took shape, each species brought forth technologies and innovations they had developed in hiding. The Meridian's organic quantum computers merged seamlessly with human quantum cores. Volturi energy manipulation techniques enhanced the efficiency of void gate travel. Arcanian dimensional mathematics improved humanity's quantum shield designs. President Patel stood before the assembled representatives. Apart, we were vulnerable. Together, we represent a force for change that the galaxy hasn't seen since the time of the Builders. But the Dominion wasn't idle. Reports came in of massive fleet movements, of ancient weapons being pulled from sacred vaults, of entire systems being fortified. Archon Vexthor's voice echoed through the quantum network, a final warning to the coalition. You have awakened something you cannot control. The Dominion maintained order for 10,000 years. Without us, the galaxy will descend into chaos. Captain Chen, commanding the joint fleet of human and alien vessels near the Orion Void Gate, responded for all to hear. Order built on fear isn't order at all. Archon, it's just delayed chaos. The first major battle of the United Coalition took place in the Helios sector. The Dominion, attempting to isolate and destroy the rebellion piece by piece, found themselves facing not just human quantum technology, but a synthesis of innovations from a dozen species. Meridian crystal ships phased through space using principles of organic quantum tunneling. Volturi energy vessels danced through dimensional rifts that the Dominion sensors couldn't even detect. Arcanian warships wielded weapons that operated on mathematical principles that made traditional shields useless. And coordinating it all was humanity's quantum network, linking every ship and every soldier into a unified force that adapted and evolved with each engagement. The Helios sector, long a stronghold of Dominion power, fell in less than a day. They're falling back to their core systems, Admiral Okonjo reported to the Coalition Council. But our intelligence suggests they're activating something called the Eternal Arsenal. Dr. Santos' quantum interface flickered as she processed data from the Mars archives. The Builders left warnings about the Eternal Arsenal. It's not just a weapon. It's a last resort designed to reset the galaxy's quantum framework. The Dominion is willing to destroy everything rather than lose control. The Coalition's response was swift. While the Dominion expected them to retreat in fear, the combined fleet pressed forward. Human quantum cores linked with Meridian crystals to create prediction matrices. Volturi energy beings merged with ship systems to enhance their dimensional awareness. Arcanian scientists worked with Earth's quantum experts to develop countermeasures. They don't understand, Santos explained to the Coalition leadership. The Eternal Arsenal was built by the same civilization that created the Void Gates. And just like the gates, it's not meant to be controlled. It's meant to be communicated with. As the Dominion prepared to activate their doomsday weapon, the Coalition fleet approached their core systems. But this wasn't just a military advance. Each ship carried representatives from every member species, their combined quantum signatures creating something new, a key to unlocking the final secrets of the Builder's legacy. You cannot hope to stand against the Arsenal. Vexthor broadcast as the Coalition fleet entered the Dominion's home system. Its power is absolute. No power is absolute, President Patel responded. That's what you never understood. True strength comes from unity, from combining our unique perspectives and abilities. The Builders knew this. It's time you learned it too. The battle for the fate of the galaxy was about to begin. But this time, humanity didn't stand alone. They stood as part of something greater, a coalition of the once oppressed, now united in the cause of freedom. And in the quantum network that connected them all, ancient protocols stirred, recognizing at last the fulfillment of their Creator's vision. A galaxy united not by force, but by choice. The Dominion's home system blazed with energy as the Coalition fleet emerged from quantum space. At its center, the massive structure of the Eternal Arsenal pulsed with power that distorted the fabric of reality itself. Archon Vexthor's flagship, a construct larger than Earth's moon, held position before it. "This is your final chance." Vexthor's voice echoed across all frequencies. "Withdraw your forces, or watch as 10,000 years of galactic civilization is undone." Aboard the UES Prometheus, Captain Chen stood at her command station, surrounded by representatives from every Coalition species. The ship's quantum core hummed in harmony with meridian crystals, Vulturi energy matrices, and Arcanian dimensional calculators. "Dr. Santos," Chen called through the quantum network, "are we ready?" From her laboratory on Earth, Santos monitored the combined quantum signatures of the Coalition fleet. The builders designed their technology to respond to harmony, not force. Every species here adds their own quantum frequency to the symphony. "We're as ready as we'll ever be." Admiral Okonjo's voice came through next. "All Coalition forces, execute Operation Harmony." The battle began not with weapons, but with energy. Every ship in the Coalition fleet activated their quantum cores simultaneously, each adding their unique signature to a growing wave of dimensional resonance. Human quantum mathematics merged with Vulturi energy patterns, guided by Arcanian calculations and amplified through meridian crystals. The Eternal Arsenal's surface began to ripple as ancient protocols recognized something they hadn't encountered in millennia: the combined quantum signatures of multiple species working in true cooperation. "The builders weren't destroyed," Santos announced, reading the data streaming through her quantum interface. "They ascended, leaving behind the tools we would need to follow, but only when we learned to work together." The Dominion fleet, their weapons useless against the Coalition's merged quantum fields, received a transmission from their own command systems. The Arsenal, fully awakened, was sharing its complete archives, revealing the truth about the builders and their vision for the galaxy. Vexthor's geometric form flickered as he processed this revelation. "All this time, we thought we were preserving their legacy. Instead, we were preventing it from being fulfilled." "It's not too late," Chen offered. "Join us. Add your knowledge, your experience, your quantum signatures to ours. Help us build something greater than Dominion. True unity." The Archon was silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, his flagship's quantum core began to shift frequency, aligning with the Coalition's harmonic pattern. Across the galaxy, the change was immediate. Void gates blazed with new energy as the quantum network fully activated. Hidden technologies emerged from ancient vaults, recognizing at last the achievement of their designed purpose. The combined knowledge and innovation of every species began to flow freely, creating possibilities that none had imagined alone. President Patel addressed the galaxy through the enhanced quantum network. "Today marks not just the end of the Dominion, but the beginning of something greater. The builders showed us that true power lies not in control, but in cooperation. Not in dominion, but in harmony." The Coalition fleet, their mission transformed from war to creation, began the work of integrating the Arsenal's gifts into the new galactic framework. Human quantum cores pulsed in sync with Dominion technology, while meridian crystals resonated with Vulturi energy patterns. Arcanian mathematics helped chart the course for this new era of exploration and discovery. Captain Chen stood on her bridge, watching as the Arsenal's light spread across space. "What happens now?" she asked. Dr. Santos' response came through the quantum network, filled with wonder. Now we truly begin to explore. The builders left us a galaxy full of mysteries, meant to be solved together. This isn't the end of our story, it's the first chapter of a much greater one." And so dawned a new age in the galaxy's history. The Dominion transformed from an empire of control to partners in discovery. Humanity's resistance had sparked not just liberation, but evolution, the fulfillment of an ancient dream of unity through diversity, strength through cooperation, and power through harmony. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly as the builders had intended.